Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Bienvenue. It's wonderful to be here at the official launch of Enrico's Promemoria exhibition in this 80th anniversary year of the invention and first uses of nuclear weapons. This collection started as a painting and has grown to what you see now, and a book and many other things. The book is entitled Promemoria, or Reminder, as is the whole exhibition, in which Enrico, as artist, activist and human rights defender, has deployed his artwork as an explicit SOS to all of us to change course and prevent the end of the world as we know it. And given what is going on in the world right now, it feels appropriate that some of Enrico's artwork references George Orwell's Animal Farm. Enrico's use of beautiful animals, striking colours and magical happenings reminds us of the urgency of the situation and what we stand to lose. Nuclear weapons are the only devices ever created by humans that have the capacity to destroy all complex life on Earth. Author Yuval Noah Harari talks about the power of human imagination to redirect our ingenuity from self-destruction to self-creation. Since the invention of nuclear weapons, writers, musicians, and artists have used their talents to educate, to protest, and to inspire others to action to achieve a world without nuclear weapons. And over the years, ICANN has worked with artists to draw the world's attention to the reality of nuclear weapons and the urgency of their abolition. And as Alistair mentioned, in 2023, we collaborated with Enrico to have a projection of radioactive beasts in Times Square in New York. And last year, together with the City of Geneva and the International Museum of the Red Cross and Red Crescent, we launched an exhibit at the museum of a sculpture of Shinichi's tricycle. Shinichi was a 3-year-old boy in Hiroshima riding his tricycle when the US nuclear bomb struck that city 80 years ago. He died from his injuries that same day and was buried in the backyard with his tricycle. Many years later, the family decided to move Shinichi's remains to a family grave, and they donated his tricycle to the Hiroshima Peace Museum, where it has come to symbolise the enormous suffering of children in war, past, present and future, and the ever-present danger of nuclear weapons. And so ICANN worked with US and Japanese artists to create a sculpture of Shinichi's tricycle to be permanently exhibited here in the international humanitarian capital of Geneva, in the Red Cross Museum. And we've also worked with Mexico-based artists against the bomb, including on a poster exhibition at the Parke de Bastion in August. But talking about Shinichi's sculpture reminded me of a little story I just wanted to mention. A long time ago, more than 20 years ago, I worked with UNRWA in Gaza for 2.5 years as part of my UN career. And I remember attending a Hiroshima and Nagasaki commemoration ceremony down at the Gaza harbour early one August evening. And there were hundreds of Palestinian children who'd made little paper boats with candles in them. And they carefully lit the candles and set the boats afloat on the water. And it was extraordinarily beautiful, Gaza harbour. And very moving to think that here were children who were themselves being subjected to bombing on a regular basis, remembering children in another time and place who'd also been bombed. And when I visited Hiroshima and Nagasaki for the first time last year to meet with the elderly hibakusha, now in their 80s and 90s, I realised that they were children at the times of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. And these were the same children being remembered by the children of Gaza many years earlier. And those same hibakusha were leading nightly rallies in support of the people of Gaza. And they did that because they understood that these issues are connected across space and time. That it's the same ways of thinking that justify nuclear weapons, that justify genocide, that justify facilitating a genocide. And the I think art and inspired thinking is what can help us to change those very dangerous ways of thinking that are doing so much harm in this world. And when I think of the culture of that I saw in Gaza, and the Japanese culture I saw in Japan, and all of that destroyed today and back then. And I think about the culture that's represented in this beautiful building, in this beautiful association here. That is what we have to lose. Many people think, well, I'm only one person, what can I do? Well, the antidote to a sense of helplessness is action. Since nuclear weapons will destroy everything and everyone we love, nuclear weapons are everyone's business. We all have a right to speak about this. It's both our right and our responsibility, whatever our background, skills and resources, to take some action, no matter how small, to put an end to nuclear weapons. And so that could be speaking to your elected officials about the TPNW, as Alistair mentioned, and as Alistair said, that if you are Swiss, please sign the popular initiative. We've only got a few weeks left to get it in, to have Switzerland join the TPNW. You can speak to your banks and pension funds about their ethical investment policies and demand they divest from nuclear weapons. You could be joining or donating to a campaign like ours. You could be posting on social media, creating art, as Enrico has done. You are limited only by your imagination, and that is no limit at all. Albert Einstein said he never made a single one of his scientific discoveries through a process of rational thinking. It was all insight and imagination. The Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons is an example of that creative thinking, of seeing differently, how we can choose another path. We don't have to go down this path of increasing confrontation, militarisation and proliferation. We can actually choose a different path of dialogue, diplomacy and disarmament. Excuse me. And so what Einstein said is that the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. And we have created a society that honours the servant and has forgotten the gift. Well, I think Enrico's beautiful works show that indeed we have not forgotten the gift. Thank you, Enrico, for what you do to bring some beauty and some hope into this world. Thank you.